It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and welcome to Thanksgiving weekend 1999, November 26th to be exact. The movies open up on Wednesday, and we had three movies, but of course the biggest one was Toy Story 2, and we just talked about that in the last episode. So, what two movies came out on Thanksgiving weekend that the studio said, we're going to combat Toy Story 2 with counter-programming that is surely going to be good enough to face up against one of the biggest sequels of all time? Yeah, they really screwed this whole thing up, and I'm going to show you why. Let's start off with the first movie that we have here, Arnold Schwarzenegger versus the Devil, which you can already see the problem there. This is End of Days. Okay, first of all, that trailer lies to you, because in the trailer they make it seem like Robin Tooney, the woman that he's going after, Arnold Schwarzenegger's going after, is his wife, which is not the case at all if you saw the film. Second of all, why the hell are you releasing this on Thanksgiving weekend? Why does anybody think that an R-rated movie like this is going to do well on Thanksgiving weekend, where for as far back as the box office it goes, kids films, family films, they do the best big budget epics that are PG-13. Those are the ones that make the most money at the box office, not the R-rated films. I'm looking at the list here, and I've yet to see one R-rated movie that opened up on Thanksgiving weekend that actually made a ton, that actually was a big hit and was the number one movie at the box office. There might be some out there, but from what I've seen here, it's mostly Disney films, big budget studio films like Hunger Games, like that type of stuff. But and third, they took a great idea here that could have been so much fun and just a mess. So you have a story here where you have an alcoholic former New York police detective played by Arnold Schwarzenegger who, after he saves a banker played by Gabriel Byrne from an assassin, finds himself embroiled in a religious conflict and must protect an innocent young woman played by Robin Tooney, who is chosen by evil forces to conceive the Antichrist with Satan. As I talked about before with Stigmata, Gabriel Byrne is in this movie, so you could kind of consider this a sequel to that, because in a way he's kind of playing almost the same character he was in that film, except just make him not a banker in this one, make him the priest that he was in the last in Stigmata, and you could have easily had this connect in some ways. But let's get to why this movie doesn't work from the get-go. And the biggest problem with it is it takes an idea that should be awesome, Arnold Schwarzenegger going up against Satan himself, and makes it one of the most boring, pretentious pieces of garbage you will ever see. I could not believe how boring this movie was. It drags way too much. The scares are not that scary. The CG work in here is an abomination. And then it has to show in this knowledge. It's trying to be like, how do I want to say this here? It's trying to throw in this smart satire here, where like one of the big things they talk about in the film, they have a priest played by Rod Steiger who's talking about 666, the mark of the beast, and it turns out if you turn it upside down, it's 999, as in 1999. And okay, where does the 1 go? Well, it doesn't matter because it's still 666. It's just like, come on, man, like you've got to be smarter than this. I mean, this is just pathetic. It's a pathetic film, and written by Andrew W. Marlowe, who would later go on to create Castle, which was a great success. But Peter Hyams is a great director. He's made a lot of really good films in his career. I mean, The Relic was a great film. Sudden Death. A lot of them came in this decade. Time Cop, Sudden Death, The Relic. Those were good, fun films. I mean, he's made a lot of great movies as a director, great, fun movies. But this, to take a concept that would be so cool to see, Arnold Schwarzenegger going up against the devil, and to make it as boring and as bland as this movie is. This thing's over 2 hours long, and it's some of the slowest, most ill-paced drama you will ever see. You don't care about any of these characters whatsoever. You don't like anybody in this movie whatsoever. It's just a mess. It's a friggin' mess of a movie. It's a mess on so many levels. The fact that this thing came out on Thanksgiving weekend, that they thought this was going to play well on Thanksgiving weekend, which, I mean, it didn't do so well here in America, but when you take in worldwide, it still made double its budget, so I guess there was an audience for it at least. But they probably never ever saw this movie again afterwards. I should tell you that I would never want to watch this movie again after watching it the first time. It's a bad movie. It's a really bad film. It just ruins what could have been a really cool idea, and just doesn't do anything worthy to it. It takes itself way too seriously. It doesn't just let this movie be what it should be. Arnold Schwarzenegger going up against the devil. Have some fun with it. You could be dark, have some dark humor to it, but have some fun with it. Stop taking it as seriously as it does in this film. And you would have something here, but nope. Not in this film. So yeah. Avoid this one like the plague, and you might want to avoid our last film, too, as like the plague as well. Robert De Niro and Philip Seymour Hoffman in Flawless. So Robert De Niro plays this homophobic cop who ends up with paralyzed vocal cords because of an unfortunate stroke. His therapy includes singing lessons from a neighbor who is not only flamboyantly gay, but also preoperative transgender. Both of them are equally prejudiced, coots against non-heterosexuals, and the neighbor against close-minded straight people. Why did you think this was a good idea? Like, really? Like, Joel Schumacher really lost it after he did Batman and Robin for a little bit there, because after that, his career just took a nosedive. I mean, that movie literally killed his career, because everything after this was not so good. And for MGM, for this to be your 75th anniversary, and this is a film that you proudly put your 75th anniversary logo on, this film, we have a lot. They have not had a good year in 1999, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at their list now. This is the year they celebrated their 75th anniversary, and these are the films that came out this year. At First Sight, The Rage Carry 2, The Mod Squad, The Thomas Crown Affair, Stigmata, Molly, The World Is Not Enough, and Flawless. The best movie out of those films is The Thomas Crown Affair, and that's a remake. One movie out of, let's see, 1 out of 8. That's abysmal. And this film, I don't know what they were trying to do with it. I mean, yeah, Robert De Niro and Philip Seymour Hoffman are terrific actors. They could carry a film like this, but the movie itself is just really just all over the place. It doesn't know if it wants to be a buddy cop movie or like a buddy action comedy in any way, like kind of an action comedy equivalent to something like Priscilla Queen in the Desert or Tu Wong Fu, but I mean, it's a mess of a film, and it's a shame because Philip Seymour Hoffman is good in it, so is Robert De Niro. You could probably see where they're going with it, but man, this is just a film that feels like there's just so much here that really, really should have worked. I think the best thing that came out of this film was Philip Seymour Hoffman, everybody kind of realizing that this guy can be a really good actor, and of course he would later show that down the road. He'd win an Academy Award. And, of course, unfortunately, not but 15 years after this movie came out, he unfortunately left us. He passed away shortly afterwards. And it's a shame because he was a really great actor. We see him in a lot of great stuff here. And he's one of the few things that really does carry the film to somewhat being of somewhat enjoyment, and him and De Niro. But the story is just all over the place. It's just not that interesting. I don't know what the message is they're trying to get at the end of it. But it's a mess of a film, and like I said, this was back when Joel Schumacher's career really fell downhill after this. I don't think he made a relevant film again until something like a Phone Booth, or even the films that weren't terrible weren't great either. Stuff like The Phantom of the Opera is not a great movie, but there's still some elements there that are okay, that are fine. The Number 23 is one of those so bad it's good type of films. Yeah, but after Batman and Robin, man, this guy's career took a huge nosedive at this point. So a lot of his movies we're going to get to as we move along through the years are not great films, and this is one of those examples. So other than that, Toy Story 2 was probably the best thing you could have gone to see this weekend, because this and End of Days were not great films whatsoever. So with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and we're heading into the last month of the decade of the 90s. We're only 5 days away from getting into the 2000s, and hard to believe we've gotten this far, and we're already at this point, about a year and a half of starting this, but we've got two movies, nothing too spectacular, but of noteworthiness: The End of the Affair and Sweet and Lowdown, both of which were nominated for several Oscars. So, but other than that, not much to look at next time, so we should get through this one pretty quickly the next time we meet. So we will delve into those, and actually I'm seeing a movie here that we didn't get to cover yet. We'll throw in Mansfield Park too, because that's another film that probably should have been included because it came out a couple weeks ago, and I probably didn't see it until I just looked at it. But so Mansfield Park, The End of the Affair, and Sweet and Lowdown, those will be the three films we'll look at next time. But until then, Thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So with that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.